welcome to another edition of the Full Force News Burst, brought to you by GeneralsJoes.com, with me as your host, Chris Bum Fight McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. Joining me today to reveal Roma Collectibles' brand spanking new Boss Fight Studio exclusive action figure is Aaron Aroma Delectables Detrick. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this news burst. A number of days ago, both Boss Fight Studio and Roma Collectibles shared a teaser image on their social network pages of a combined exclusive Vitruvian Hacks action figure. The image showed a black silhouette of the figure and accessories on a fiery background and a date for the full reveal, and that date is today. Well, technically not today, because this has been recorded previous to today. But anyway, I am joined by Roma Collectibles owner, dictator and despot, Aaron, all I care about is the money Detrick. Aaron, thanks for choosing the Full Force to reveal this awesome figure. But before you do, tell us how this particular exclusive came about, if you will.
Basically, it's something that we've wanted to do for quite some time. We've been one of the retailers for Boss Fight Studios for just over 2 years now.
Okay. Wow.
Has
it been that long?
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
That it's definitely been 2 years is what we've been selling this stuff for. And, it was one of those things where, even when we first started, Eric got a hold of me, and I've known all of the Boss Fight crew for years through like Joe Cons and just through conventions and the whole toy circuit, And I remember one day he messaged me on Facebook just kind of cordially like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, it's good. What are you up to? Blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Why don't you sell our toys?" Out of nowhere.
To the point.
And I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, "Okay, well, you're going to." He's like, we're going to have someone get a hold of you later today, and, with a sheet, and basically you fill all this out, do the wholesale thing, and you're good to go. And ever since then, we've hit the ground running. It's funny, they say we're not their biggest customer when it comes to their wholesale account, but we are their biggest cheerleader, where we are always promoting the heck out of Boss Fight just because I love the product.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I think it's the best 4-inch figure on the market. Night of Asperity just won that award this year.
Yeah, true.
Which is true that it is the best 4-inch figure out there. It's beaten everything.
Articulation, details, sculpt, deco,
accessories. You've got so much stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and just, in the packaging being the collector friendly, where you can open it up and play with it, and then when you're done, seal it back up and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Makes it, that's huge.
Yeah.
And so it's just, we always knew at some point we were going to do an exclusive. We just never knew when. And, I'd been in talks, so it was like, "Oh, we want to do an exclusive. Okay, we'll talk." And then it always seemed like something kind of got in the way.
Yeah.
Whether, we were doing something on our end and just wasn't able to do it, or, we were kind of hot and heavy at one point, and then the horse Kickstarter started.
Yeah. And
it was kind of like, well, we'll take a back seat. You do this. When all this is said and done, let's talk again. And, sure enough, we were in NJCC, in the New Jersey Collector Convention, was that 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the last one, which was in August. And, Eric was like, "I've got an idea." He's like, "We got an idea for the exclusive. We're doing it now. Let's start talking." We hashed out the boring numbers part. And it was kind of like, it's
3 billion
3
made.
billion are getting made. It's slightly more than what they're used to producing.
Worst exclusive ever.
So many shipping containers. But no, so it was one of those things where we talked and it's like, "Oh, let's do it." And then it was just one of those things where it's like, August disappeared, September disappeared.
As it does.
October. And it was just one of those things like, man, we really got to do this. And by luck, I was going to the Rhode Island Comic-Con with my cousin, just kind of riding shotgun
Kenny.
While he worked the convention. Kenny, everyone loves him.
Cousin Kenny.
He's everyone's cousin. Yep. Big shout out to Cousin Kenny.
He probably is everyone's cousin. He's
he
probably
is.
got
Once
DNA everywhere.
Rules are, the second you meet him, he becomes your cousin. We all share the shame. God bless him. And, so it was one of those things where we were going to Rhode Island, and I was like, "Oh, let's go to the warehouse. Let's go to the office of Boss Fight and just say hi." One of those things like, just to see everyone. We're over there. We're only, from the convention center to them was, I think, 40-minute drive, which wasn't bad at all. So we showed up Friday afternoon one day just to kind of see the new digs. Because they've been in there. Oh, I love it. I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait till they do like kind of that little storefront like they were talking about doing. And yeah, so we showed up, and you know, they showed us around, did the whole thing, and there's a lot that I'm not allowed to talk about what I saw, but it's phenomenal.
Well, that sounds like you saw some sort of scandalous act going on between...
Well, I mean, Andrew has been known to... No, I mean, you know, just stuff that we saw that was in the pipeline and in the works. That was just kind of like, you know, it's like we walked by stuff. We're like, oh, we're probably not supposed to read that, and they're like, keep walking. You know, it's like, just stuff like that. That
follow
was a
me
lot
to
of
the
fun.
Basement. You're going to
basically that was it. It's like go to the warehouse. That's where you're allowed to hang out. Go downstairs. And you know, so we got the whole tour, and everything's phenomenal, and saw how, you know, basically how everything was made and how it was done. And then at the end of it, Eric's like, hey, come to my office, let's chat real quick. And so we ran up there, and we were kind of just like looking around, seeing all of his cool customs he's got. And he was like, all right, so here's the deal. This is a handful of exclusives that you guys could do. And basically showed me pictures of, I think, about 4 or 5 different things.
Cool.
Again, items I'm not allowed to talk about.
I'll flash them up on screen.
Right, yeah, exactly. Because I took photos with my phone when Eric wasn't looking, and of his computer.
I'm just gonna be flashing the most random stuff up at this point. Just things that have got nothing to do with
just nothing
Bum Fight.
to do with it. Right. Just like a dog wearing a hat, you know. Just
that's gone. That's done.
Just random stuff.
That's done.
And you know, so it was funny. Like, he showed me one that just didn't really click, and he showed me another. I was like, oh, that's cool. And he showed me like a third one, which I'm telling you, the third one almost had me.
Yeah.
Because it was again, can't talk about it because I think eventually these things are coming out somehow.
Yeah.
And then the last one he showed me was our winner. Like, I mean, the second it popped up to the screen, I pointed at it. I'm like, that's it. That's what we're doing. That's the exclusive that I want. And yeah, that was kind of, you know, how it came to be. Just one of those things where, you know, and since we saw the initial picture, you know, when I chose the one, we've tweaked it and added stuff here and there.
Yeah. Just
to make it easier for production, stuff like that. But everything they did, every little tweak was a positive in my opinion.
Yeah.
To this thing, because it was like, oh, we had to do, you know, basically use these because they're on the same mold type of deal.
Yeah.
But that's how it's going to work. And now it's like, oh my God, that works so much better.
Okay. So I mean, we've kept the viewers and listeners waiting long enough, I think.
I know. That's why I was talking long, because the suspense. They're like clicking. They're just skipping me talking, you know, like every 4
dog
seconds.
in a hat.
It's like, God, yeah, dog in a hat.
It's like, what the hell?
About?
And then they have to go back because they're like, I need to know. I need to know what that's about. Well, let's reveal your amazing new exclusive then, buddy. Obviously you'll just have to say the name and I'll reveal it visually on screen.
Okay. Now, admittedly, I'm not sure how to pronounce it because all I've seen, I'm calling him Gazog, the Asperity Mage. Now the picture's up, explosions, and he's on the screen.
Amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to say when I first saw it, Gazoj or Gazoj or Gazoj.
I'm sure we probably could have asked Paddy.
Well, let's ask. Well, okay, so Paddy has like basically built that. He came up with the name, right, and the bio.
He came up with the name and the bio. Yeah, that was all him. It was, you know, and it's funny, like with it being my exclusive, I really wasn't hands on. I got to choose some of the accessories, but yeah, when it came to the name, it was all Paddy, and I even asked him, you know, where did you get the name from? Does it mean anything? Because a lot of times he's always throwing. Yeah. Characters have a reason for their names. The idea is that with Gazoj, maybe we're just going to say different every time until we get it
differently
right.
every time. Yeah. And then one of them will be right, and I can just edit that one that we say right over everything. And it's just
actually we should just say a bunch, and then you edit it. Gazoj, as we go through,
yeah, just say every single different version every time.
The Asperity Mage. Was it or Mage of Asperity? Yeah, maybe I don't. Yeah. So, anyways, he had told me, you know, because I hit him up, and he had told me that Eric had mentioned that the actual main head is the older head, right? The Asian man, yeah, and that the Gazoj is actually a spiritual demon from like the island of Laos, or an East Asian island type of deal, or continent. I'm not real sure.
They always go on some deep cut to make my video review more difficult.
And well, you know what? I tried like Googling some of it and couldn't find anything. So I think Paddy made it up.
Yeah, you know what he's like. You can't trust the Irish in that way.
Nope, not one bit.
I love the fact. I must admit, I'm going to read it out on the show. But when you sent me through the, basically his temporal log and bio and all that kind of stuff, on the temporal log, Paddy is made. I think he did it from himself. I don't think he's taken it from anywhere. He made up this like poem for
incredible,
and it's amazing. And I'm going to read it out now. So,
which apparently now this is the first time that any of these have had something like this, like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, because this is on the temporal log, and usually there's a bit of information that ties it in with stuff. But here he's decided to do this. Really, it's like the nursery rhyme that the kids sing
like this. It's
him.
kind of like he's the boogeyman. Of this place, and this is the children are taught to beware of this man. In actual fact,
to be really specific, he says at the end of this, translated from a Cord children's rhyme, which I think is brilliant.
Yep.
So hold on to your hats, guys.
Dog and hats.
Remember to be scared. Remember to take fright. Gazerge stalks his prey at night. He'll take your bones and remove your hands, drag you shrieking to the blasted lands. Although his many faces often change, his lust for blood remains the same. Come home, come quick, come home soon, for he only hunts by the light of the moon. And I was going to do my own one. Grab your...
Jesus.
I can't even do it.
Okay, yeah, you can. I got faith in you. Do it.
He'll grab your feet. He'll steal your socks. He'll drag you screaming by your... That was my version that I wanted to do.
That was really good, but I see why.
I see why that didn't make it into the temporal log.
It didn't make the cut in the end.
Yeah, shame. But anyway, I love what Paddy's done there, and I think that's just really... It kind of... It gives it even more realism in a way, doesn't it?
Right, yeah. No, and like I said, when he sent me that the other day, I was like, oh my God, that blown away. I was like, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It just, he knocked it out of the park on that one. When it came to, like I said, choosing the character, the initial picture that we saw was just of that red skull with like the black highlight and the black paints on. And the tribal was a little different on his, I guess, tunic, I guess is what we're going to call it. Yeah. Because he's obviously like a battle mage. He's in armor.
Yeah. He's not messing about, is he?
No, he's not. And originally he came with like a long sword, a battle axe, this and that. Like he was ready for battle. Yeah. But when we chose this was actually before the Dragon Harvester had come out.
Okay.
And I was like, I need him to have a pet dragon. I was like, I want him to have a pet. He needs a little friend. To go across the Badlands together. And
is the dragon called Kenny?
We have yet to name the dragon.
Looks like he's got a name then.
And if we put a little bow tie on him, we'll call him Kenneth. Because he's fancy.
Oh, that's amazing.
But, so that was kind of it. And when we got the dragon in there, we swapped out, because, they were saying, well, with the dragons, with the staff, we can now use this with either the torch or the scepter.
Yeah.
And then, the Morning Star or whatever it is. And then I was like, well, he needs a knife at least.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Eric was the one who actually came up with the idea of the alternate. He's like, well, we can throw another head in there.
Yeah.
I immediately, my idea was the older head. I was like, I kind of want like a Shang Tsung for Mortal Kombat head.
Yeah.
As, as like a wizard. They had just come out with the Naga. And Eric's like, oh, yeah, well, we could just use this head piece and make him, you won't have the scar in the eye. We'll give him real eyes.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, and just basically paint his hair white. And when we kind of thought about it, because they were using those molds, the alternate head for the Naga was also available.
Yeah.
Which is the Fred head. And, and that was when Eric came up with the idea of, well, let's do the blood face kind of like the Asperity Knight had.
Yeah.
With the red, kind of skull look. And we'll put that on the Fred head. So it's kind of a different head, but it's an Asperity guy. So, that's how we ended up with the 3 heads, which I love that idea.
That's crazy cool. Yeah, totally.
I mean... And so it's kind of like, I can't wait to get 3 of them and just kind of set them up.
Is the idea to have like the skeletal head almost like when he's in mage or when he's in like conjuring mode, it like appears or something? Or is it like, is it like a different eras of the same character, if you know
See,
what I
and
mean.
that's kind of what, initially I thought, well, maybe these were, because at one point they even say there are in the bio that there are a handful of them out there.
Okay.
Or that he's alternate heads. His face changes.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder, like they said, the main head was the older head.
Yeah.
That was what Eric said was, and as you look at the card art, that's what we used.
Yeah, which is also gorgeous, by the way. I'll flash that up on screen. By Lost and Wallace.
But yeah, it was one of those things where I almost was like, well, are they three brothers or are they just three different mages? But I loved your idea, which I'd never even thought about, of three different timelines, like the younger version, the older, and then maybe he's gone full-on evil Skullman.
Full-on skull face.
Yeah.
I actually like the thought of him being almost like a kind of Ghost Rider kind of style, where, when he flips into that mode, his skull appears and it's all red and gross and messed up, and then...
Which could be it, too.
Yeah.
At this point, Patty's got the background set, but, with these figures, the way people are, we all create our own kind of timeline, own storyline anyways with these characters, because we're all giant children. So
giant, massive children.
Giant children. 8 feet tall.
Talking about the accessories, though, and actually on the figure itself, are there any homages on it or included with the accessories? Because I can see something familiar written in the book that he comes
Yes, which was 100% Eric's idea there as well. This guy's a genius when it comes to this, I guess. He was, when we were talking, and I said, I want the spell book, because I like the little flame accessory that goes on it, which is, I just think that's fun. I've loved that since the Felonious and, all that.
It's awesome.
And he was the one who said, well, why don't we take the book? And he goes, we can write anything in it we want.
Just have
and I was like, and I'm like, oh, yeah, just a bunch of And he was like, well, let's have Roma in the actual book, like a spell book.
Brilliant.
That way, and I was like, oh my God, can you do that? And, sure enough, because he's got a computer in front of him, he can do anything.
He's a mage himself, Eric Aranya, isn't he?
When it comes to graphic design, to my knowledge, yes, that man is phenomenal.
But are there any other kind of homages like hidden within the
with this
the
one, not really, no. We had the Roma in the book. Like I said, everything else was just kind of, we had the idea, like Eric had the initial idea of, because like I said, they've got like a folder on his computer. So if you break into Boss Fight Studios, and you find a folder that says exclusives, he's got like a handful of different exclusives. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but he's got a handful. And that, like I said, that was the one we chose. And then we just tweaked it here and there until our reveal.
Yeah.
For the most part, the original picture looks really close to that.
Now I want to call him Gazogi.
Gazogi?
Now I want to call. I think let's switch to Gazogi for the rest of the episode.
Okay.
We've had Gazoj. We've had
Gazog,
and now I think Gazogi is the new one. Let's finish.
Right.
Let's finish on the third option.
Strong with it. Yeah.
How will the exclusive work from a sales perspective? Will it be available online at shows, that kind of thing?
We will. Yes, we will definitely have it in our inventory at shows. We hit 30 shows a year all over the United States.
Wow.
We go as far north as Traverse City, Michigan, as far south as Daytona, Florida, as far east as NJCC, and as far west as AR in Iowa.
Yeah.
Assembly Required, the G.I. Joe. But for those who can't reach us at a convention, we will have them online. It probably will just be on eBay to make everything easier for everyone.
Right.
That way we can help and accommodate our international customers.
Oh, nice.
And stuff like that. And we want to kind of maybe do sell them single or sell them as 3-packs online.
Cool. So you can make the most of those heads.
Right. And that way it will save shipping for a lot of people like that, especially for the international people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at.
The foreigners.
Exactly. Got to throw them a bone.
In the blasted lands of the United Kingdom and Europe and Australia and Africa. I'm gonna name every place. Is that okay?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll sit here.
Antingham. I'm starting with small towns. Is that okay?
No, that's what I would assumed you would do. Why go big right up front? Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on as well and talking about your exclusive. Is there anything more you want to add? I know you've done a couple of mock-up package kind of displays.
Yeah, that was mainly me bored at night. After I got the you know, we had the card art. You know, they showed me the finished card piece and the art that I kind of like. I scanned a boss fight card back in,
perfect,
and just kind of made it myself, just to kind of get an idea. You know, I'm excited. That's what 100%. I'm just super excited for this thing. And with us going to NJCC this weekend, we're going to meet Boss Fight. They should have hand-painted prototypes on hand.
Sweet.
So I could, you know, the idea was I wanted to pop one in the card back.
Nice.
You know, and just kind of have it on display that way. So, yeah, like I said, man, we're just super excited about this one.
I'm not surprised.
This is something that it's been in the works for a while and finally all lined up. Sadly, we don't have a release date yet. That may change shortly. But as of right now, like I said, we've got the prototype, and then right after NJCC, they're going to ship one of the hand-painted prototypes to China to start production on it.
Awesome.
So
we're still talking this year, though, right?
Yes. Yep. To my knowledge. I don't know how long this takes, but I would assume definitely this year.
Awesome. Well, very excited for you. Gazogi looks amazing. Gazogi looks unreal. I think.
Can we just call him the Goes?
The Goes.
Shorten it. The Goes.
The Goes. He is amazing, and I think it's always really cool. Even though, you know, it's an exclusive, whatever, it's always really cool to get kind of extra characters for the different factions. You know, I always get excited. Right. I always used to get excited back in the day when G.I. Joe would have, you know, like DJ would come out randomly for Battle Force 2000, and you could add him to your, you know, to that sub team, and an like Target would come out, and it would be for the Iron Grenadiers. You're like, oh my god, they've got, you know, I love that kind of stuff. So this is a similar thing. You've got the Asperity Knights, and you've got, you know, all that kind of faction, and to get this on top of it is amazing. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, one of the first things I thought of was I can't wait to get him on one of those horses with the Asperity tack kit. Oh, yes. You know, or just one of those, the evil horse or the demon horse type of thing. Like
you know what
Dark Pegasus. And
that was it. And I'm like, I want him on that, you know. So there's that now I'm excited about too. And just, I mean, I've been running through my head all the stuff that I want to do with this figure once I get in. That, we're super excited for it. Awesome. So awesome. Well, congratulations. Before you go, and one final thing, if this is a successful venture, would you be looking at possibly doing another exclusive with Boss Fight? And if so, would we be talking their follow-up series, which would be, I think, sci-fi, or even like Zombies, Series Z, that kind of thing? Well, we're in, what series are we in right now? Series 5, or Wave 5 for Wave 937, Fantasy? I believe it is. Because I know they've got 8 or 9 waves planned for, is it 8 waves for Fantasy? Yeah, there's going to be a few more, and it's going to be back and forth with Series Z, I think. And that's what they're going to do. If this is successful, we would love to do another one. Like I said, I've seen kind of what they want to do for exclusives for the future, for the Fantasy wave, and there's definitely another one that Eric showed me that I would love to do. It just, we need to get a little bit of money back. Yeah. So I could pay them more money to get another one made. You just keep doing this to make $1 profit each time, right? I'm like, 70 cents. Yeah, but it's worth it in the end. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you didn't have that 70 cents before, so that's... Right, I can almost get a Coke. Well, don't go nuts, mate, yeah? Save it. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Thank you for jumping on. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for giving us the full reveal on the full force. Really appreciate it. No, that's, you were one of the first I thought of. And one of, not the first. One of. No, not the first. I believe you first went to Justin Bell, didn't you, in your head? Well, I was going to, and I was like, I like Chris. No, I'm kidding. I love you, Justin, man. Justin sponsors this segment of the Newsburst. That's the best part. Amazing. He doesn't pay us anything, the cheap did. I'm just kidding. Dude, thank you so much. That's it for this installment of the Full Force Newsburst. Thank you to my awesome guest, Aaron Detrick. See you next time, and as always, full Roma Force. Oh, we're Roma Force? I was going to say it with you because I'm reading along. Ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Full Force! Oh, you got to say it like that, too? You said it well. I said it... Full Force! Like that.
I'm gonna get that one you just did and add it to the other one that we just
kind
did
of like
together.
I got hit in the head with something. I say it like
Exactly.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Let's just. We should get everyone to say it and then start redubbing the Deke cartoons.
I'm in.
Full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.